This video was researched, written, and produced by me. Portions of the narration were generated using AI voice technology. No synthetic recreation, voice clone, or likeness of any real person discussed in this video was used at any point. Everything in this series is based on publicly available live stream content, documented and timestamped by the creator. Statements characterized as claims, accusations, or patterns reflect this creator's analysis and opinion of publicly available material, and viewers are encouraged to review the original source material themselves. This video is a work of commentary and criticism, protected under Fair Use 17 U.S.C. Section 107. 12 hours. 156 mentions of my name. By the end of it, I wasn't even mad about what she said about me anymore. I was mad about what she said about herself, without realizing it. I'm Crama Reels. This is the biggest one I've put together yet because this stream earned it. Act 1, the fast version. Here's what happened on July 15th, in a few minutes instead of 12 hours. She opens by replaying an old live stream of hers from February 8th, old footage, not anything new, using it as proof to anchor the night. From there, she brings on Queen Bee, Clue, Truth, and Charming Jenna, who each sit in for extended stretches rather than cycling in and out. Around hour 4, they confirm that Sally is Minnie is Crama Reels. Information I said publicly, out loud, over a year before this stream. Not a reveal, a rerun. Then for almost 2 hours, the panel argues with itself about who sent a Discord invite, me or my former best friend, Crama. Multiple people correct each other, more than once, on camera. By the end, Becky says on record she's never spoken to Crama at all, while someone else claims they talked to me on the phone during a car ride. They can't agree on who's talked to who. Buried in the middle of all that is a real, serious allegation, impersonating a law enforcement officer's name, sharing someone's private information. Every time they name a person in that segment, they name Crama, not me. And unlike most of what gets thrown around in these streams, this one didn't stay unresolved. Crama has since acknowledged what she did and apologized for it. And threaded through the entire 12 hours, she condemns content farming 7 separate times. She lays out a whole philosophy about how people should stand on their own instead of hiding behind anonymous screenshots. She criticizes other people for flip-flopping their positions. She said all 3 of those things during a stream that ran on anonymous panelists, unresolved contradictions, and 12 hours of content about people going through their own real conflicts. That's the fast version. Now let's slow down, because the details matter. Act 2, the deep dive. The seed, 4 hours before the reveal. Less than an hour into the stream, before any evidence is shown, she says my name directly and follows it with an insult. Not an accusation, not a receipt, just my name and something ugly attached to it. That's the seed. Everything that comes 4 hours later isn't a discovery. It's a payoff to something she planted at minute 51. The list. At around 3 hours and 50 minutes, someone on that panel says this, word for word. I just want to know who is doing this so I know who to stay away from. Right now on my list, Terry Lynn, Crama, Crama. A list, read out loud, on a public stream. That's not commentary. That's a blacklist being built in real time. The contradiction, 3 times over. Count with me. Early in the stream. I have no idea who Crama is. I've never spoke to Crama. Later, Becky herself, twice. I've never talked to Crama. I don't know who Crama is. None. That's 3 separate on-record admissions that they don't know who Crama is. And yet, later that same night, someone claims they talked on the phone to Crama Reels during a car ride. So which is it? Nobody's spoken to us, or somebody has? They can't even agree on that among themselves. That's not an accountability channel. That's a coin flip with my name attached to it. What actually happened with the photo? And while we're being precise, yes, I took a screenshot from a public live stream. Someone else's public live stream. I saw something already visible to anyone watching, took a picture of it, and asked what it was. That's the entire story. I didn't create anything. I didn't manipulate anything. I asked a question about something that was already public. They got that detail right on July 15th, for once, and spent 2 hours around it, making it sound sinister anyway. The serious part, handled carefully. Now, the part I want to handle the most carefully. From roughly 7:50 to 8:30, there's a real allegation that someone impersonated a real law enforcement officer's name to email another creator, and that private information was shared in Discord. I want to be exact. Every time that segment names a person, it names Crama. If something like that happened, that's serious, and it's between the people involved. It is not mine to answer for, and I won't let 12 hours of name blending make it mine by osmosis. And I want to say this clearly, because it's the part that separates this from everything else in the stream. Crama didn't dodge it. She's acknowledged what she did and apologized for it. That's more accountability than anyone else in this entire story has shown, myself included when I've gotten things wrong. It doesn't erase what happened, but it's real, and it deserves to be said plainly instead of buried under everything else. The double standard nobody talks about. One more thing before I get to Crama. She was contacted privately through StreamYard and actually talked to. I wasn't. What I got was a link, framed like an invitation to join the panel, which meant walking straight into a live audience while I got dragged, not a conversation. And Becky says it herself, on her own stream, at the 9-hour 27-minute mark. She was never offered a conversation with Crama either, and never invited to whatever private meetings happened. So somebody got private access. It just wasn't offered to me. Private care for one of us, a public ambush for the other. One more thing, handled carefully. There's one more piece from this stream I want to be precise about, because it's not about nonsense at all. It's about someone else entirely, Crama Chronicles. On her own stream, Becky says this on the record. Crama Chronicles somehow got a recorded phone call between White Boy Lockdown and me, uploaded a video with it, sent it to Becky, and has since privated both the video and the recording. That's not my account. That's Becky, in her own words, on her own stream. Here's what I need you to understand. I had no idea I was being recorded. None. I wasn't privy to White Boy sending that recording anywhere, let alone to Crama Chronicles. Both of us live in 2-party consent states, where the law requires everyone on a call to agree before it can legally be recorded. So I'm calling this exactly what I believe it is, an illegally obtained recording of a private call, made and shared without my consent, in states where the law requires both. That's my position, and I'm standing behind it. And then, once it started drawing attention, privated. Both the video and the recording. You don't quietly bury something you're confident you had the right to make. On Crama, honestly, I also want to say this plainly, because I'd rather you hear it from me. Crama was my best friend. At one point, Brittany J said on a live stream that Crama was gay, and I got upset on her behalf and wrote a song about it. That's the song dedication they spent 5 minutes treating like a secret alliance. It wasn't a secret. It was me defending a friend, and she defended me plenty of times too. That friendship has been damaged by all of this. I won't pretend it hasn't. But I won't let it get flattened into these two are the same person, because that's not what it was. Act 3. The pattern. Here's why this stream is the bombshell entry in this series, and not just another rebuttal. Every one of the 7 episodes I've built out of this channel has documented the same shape. Find someone's vulnerability, call it truth-telling, and keep them emotional so they can't think clearly. July 15th is the clearest single example of all 3 in one stream from the same person, back to back to back. She condemned content farming 7 times while content farming for 12 hours straight. She said people should stand on their own instead of hiding behind anonymous screenshots, while running an entire panel on exactly that. She criticized other people for flip-flopping, while her own panel flip-flopped on who I even am multiple times in the same 10 minutes. And she extended someone else a private conversation while sending me a link to a public ambush. That's not me interpreting anything. That's her on her own stream in her own words, describing exactly what she was doing and condemning it in someone else. And it's also her in her own words confirming that someone else recorded a private call, distributed it, and then quietly buried it once it got attention. I'm not asking you to take my word for any of this. I built this video so you wouldn't have to. Every quote is exact. Go check it yourself. She doesn't care what she's done to innocent people. She keeps trying to rewrite history. And she spends hours accusing everyone else of content farming her while doing it to all of us, every single day. I'm tired of being a daily target. I'm tired of watching history get rewritten in real time by people who are there and know better. But I didn't need 12 hours to make my point tonight. I needed the truth, laid out in order, and their own footage. Let's actually do the math on this, because I think it's worth saying out loud. 94 documented entries, 83 streams, over 800 hours of footage. That's not a documentary anymore. That's a part-time job I never applied for. She spent over 800 hours building a case against me. I spent about 35 minutes tonight taking it apart with her own footage. Do the math on who's actually wasting time here. 800 hours, 94 entries, and still not one new piece of evidence tonight. At some point, that's not a pattern anymore. That's a hobby. Receipts don't argue, they just sit there. I'm Crama Reels. I'll see y'all in the next one.